Luke paints a colourful portrait of the early church. People experience spiritual renewal, witness amazing miracles, and stand in awe of God. Luke describes the excitement and dynamism of the new community alongside the radical consequences of experiencing God. All who believed were together and had all things in common. The early church was quite similar to our churches in that many people didn't have all that much in common. They came from different parts of town and different backgrounds. Just like today, it was tricky to bridge barriers of class and income. Yet through the Holy Spirit, different people sat around the same table. They shared with one another and looked out for each other. Different people sharing aspirations and projects is the essence of the common good. The sharing can range from negotiating hard to achieve a balance of interests to developing much cosier relationships, but it always involves people coming together. Just as language wouldn't exist if people didn't speak with each other, so the common good cannot be achieved alone. Put simply, the common good is only experienced in common with others. Luke ends his description of the early church with a telling phrase, "And day by day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved." Not only was it God himself who saved people and grew the church, but it was God, the Holy Spirit, who empowered people to live together, sharing food and possessions. This cut against their normal inclinations, just as it does in our day. Luke wants readers to notice that God surrounds and undergirds the church's common life by noting how God is involved in helping the community share common aims and live well together. Acts invites us to ask how God is involved in our plans and projects. The new way of life brought about by God's presence had a purpose: to make God known. That the common life of the people of God should witness to God's presence was not a new idea, as we will see. But Luke's picture shows how God's ancient promises take new form in the church. Pentecost shows how God's salvation and reconciliation can transform everyone, whatever their race or background. This transformation is demonstrated by the community's care for its most vulnerable. Then, as now, a mutually supportive, practical common life involving sharing food and alleviating poverty is a bold model for living. Luke notes that it attracted positive attention in wider society, commenting that the church had the goodwill of all the people. We could ask ourselves about the quality of our mutual care and what it would take for it to be a powerful witness to God's presence among us. Luke tells of how God's Spirit reinvigorates the life of God's people. As they worship together and seek each other's well-being, they witness to God's presence among them. They seek both God and the good of each other, a common endeavour that gets noticed and so witnesses to God.